Okay, what I'm going to show you today is how to put polycarbonate roofing on top of a patio and get it nice and straight. So we're going to have to batten this off. We're not changing any of the wood. The owner's happy to leave the wood as it is, as it's a rental, even though a few of the pieces are a bit old. But we'll batten it off and we'll get it nice and sheeted for the tenants. Okay, so we finished doing the battening off. See, I've left them long there at the ends, and I'll show you what we do with polycarb at the end with those ones. They've all been lined up. Battens can't be more than 1.2 meters apart for polycarb. Ultimately 900 is the better of the two. And then what we've done is we've just nailed them in with 2 nails. Where are we? There you go. Can you see that? 2 nails. And then through the middle, I put one of these big screws. Where are we? One of these every second. Okay. Which have a flat head. And on the top, I put one on every single purling. Now, the reason I did that is because it's a really old pergola and I'm hoping it doesn't fall down. Nah, it shouldn't fall down, I'm only kidding. But some of the wood's a bit old and they're better at holding, and they stop the rafters from raking and twisting. So, all right. And then I'll show you what we do with the ends once we've laid the polycarb. The end batten off the gutter, we know it's 2210 to the outside edge. So we want to lay those sheets absolutely straight. And I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing we're going to do is I am going to put a nail in the end there, in the middle, and I am going to ping that batten with a string line all the way to the end. So I have a perfectly straight line to guide myself off, okay? That way, the end sheets will be perfectly straight, and over the gutter, it doesn't matter if they slightly move because nobody's going to see that. Okay, so you can see there, the first thing I've done is I put a clout in the end of that, past where the sheets start, and then I've used a chalk line, okay, and I've put a chalk line all the way along that beam. Now, the reason you do that is to get it perfectly straight because wood is not perfectly straight. And at least now I know that will be a perfectly straight line. That is what we're going to measure our sheets off. Okay, so here are the polycarb sheets that we're going to lay. The profile is actually called trim deck. And you'll see there is a certain way they go up. The sticker has to be to the top. All right, so what we've done now, if you can see this, you can see there I've marked a pencil mark 180 up from the end and 180 up on that side. So we are going to run that pencil line directly on my pinged string line to keep it perfectly straight. So the overhang of that sheet will always be 180 from that string line. Okay, and then we're going to screw it. When we get the next sheet, we'll mark 180 as well. We'll line it up with this end, and then we'll be able to adjust it left or right to make sure that it stays perfectly straight. So let's get going. Okay, so my first screw is in, and that is perfectly on the equivalent mark to that one. Okay, and you can see it's on the string line. Then what we're going to do is use that one as a pivot. Okay, I'm doing this one-handed on a roof, so if I die, you know why. Okay, to see, I don't see, no, you see that string line there? I'm going to line it up, so I need it to go a little bit that way. There you go, that is perfectly in line. according to my eye. It might look a little out because of the camera and also because it's not as strong. But now I'll screw that, and that will start us perfectly straight. The first sheet is very important. Make sure you get that straight. If that's skew-if, you're going to be fighting the whole way along to try and get your sheet straight. Okay, so the first sheet's all screwed off, except for the top. I'll do that off the tiles at the end. But I recommend you screw your sheets off as you go, because walking on polycarb is very, very difficult. Now, the screw you use is this one here, and there's different types of these, so don't stress too much. It's got the rubber washer. You can see the rubber washer there. Okay, my phone's going a little in and out of focus, sorry about that. But the rubber washer is actually what holds the screw down, the sheet down, because you'll find as they get older, polycarb becomes a little bit brittle. If you don't have the rubber washer, it'll pull out and it'll come away from the screws. Okay, so now it's time to put on the next sheet. What I've done is I've marked exactly where the purlins were with a pencil, okay? And then my next sheet, I've done exactly the same as the first one, and I've marked 180 there, and that just has to go onto that string line, and we know it's straight. Okay, so we're going to put it on, we're going to screw it off, and we're going to repeat that until we get to the end. Let's go. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see that. See the pencil mark and the very faint chalk mark? Now I can see that pencil mark's going up ever so slightly. So what I will do now is I've laid that sheet, and at the top I will pull it just slightly that way to bring it back in line. So that's how you do it. You pull that one slightly that way to bring it down. We'll pull this one out slightly if you want it to go up. And you just keep adjusting it like that to keep it on that string line. And that's how you'll keep it straight. All right, so that's it completely laid. All your screw lines done except for the top one. You can see how straight that is using the string line. Now all we've got to do is cut off these ends, and I'll show you how to do that now to make everything the right size. Okay, so now at the end you'll end up with the battens quite a bit longer than the polycarb, which is perfect. That's how you want it. What we're going to do is we're going to go along with our pencil. We're going to mark all 3 battens right there, and down the bottom. Then we're going to cut them off with a saw. We're going to undo these 2 screws, cut them off with a saw just inside that pencil mark, and it'll give you a really nice, neat finish. So just inside that pencil mark there. All right, so I'm doing this with one hand so you can see what's happening. So we're going to run it straight down that pencil line right there. And there you go. That's how it's finished. And when you put the screw in, get a slight overlap over it, but you keep the water off it. Beautiful. So there you have it. It's all screwed off, top and bottom. You'll notice it has a slight overhang over the gutter there. That is to stop any leakage between the gutter and the tiles. Okay, if you ever have to clean in there, do it with a big blower vac. That'll get it out. All the ends are straight. All the lines are done. You see how the ends are finished nicely. And that's on both sides. So you get some nice light. I'll give you a shot of it from the bottom. So there it is, all finished, all done. Looking great. I really like this pearl white. It's the tree, you can see it all through. And as we turn, it's nice, light and bright now. All right, just give you a look at that gutter line, nice and straight. You'll cut those off because there's a few rotten ones down the end. And then the finish at the end just needs some touch-up paint. Over here, we've taken it slightly past the gutter. That way, in the winter when it rains, there'll be no leaks. You'll be able to put your chairs out here and relax. All right, I hope this is helpful. If you like this, guys, maybe give me a subscription. It helps, obviously. But otherwise, give it a go. Try everything. All right, thanks, fellas.